Hey there, it is Phoenix Amore. So I wanted to point out something very critical to difference between people being objective or those that are blind in their bias. So what I've noticed is there's this pattern of people from other countries that completely get it, and they don't look at me as anti-American. They're saying this is this African-American woman saying this stuff looks a hot mess. Long time ago, and I said you can't have the same people who know they had certain histories, to include some political messiness, we'll call it that, come out on all these issues and act like they're leaders in them all of a sudden. What I needed to point out with that article is look how many women, that's 4 and 5 women, that all said the same thing about her husband. Now everybody has something that they have quirks about, but where it becomes an issue is when these same people try to then become advocate for something that they have so much bad history in, is the best way to word that. So here is somebody saying y'all really need to stop inviting her to those kind of events, not necessarily saying if you want to talk about some of the topics, so be it. These people are being objective enough to see what I say, when I say too political, that means you keep inviting the same person that clearly most of the public, if they liked her, they would have voted her in. Y'all missed the point over and over again. So it becomes one of those things where people are just like, oh, okay, so anyway. And then you have this other side of it, where you have this rapper now all of a sudden thinks, oh, so-and-so for president, haha, but it's not funny, okay? Because what people are looking at right now is how the country got divided. These same ones, they do this over and over again. So I pointed something out, that bad habit, If you remember, there was the blonde singer, that they pitted up against this black singer, and that became a mess. That was during the election, and then suddenly you see where Clinton lost. So these same people, they don't realize how much chaos they cause. Everything that they've tried to accomplish the last 2 years in the political realm, poof, fell through for a reason, because they keep doing that, pitting black and white against each other in a country that's a melting pot. That is why I find it so ignorant, So kudos to the people, wherever you want to call it, in the UK or however, that can read and listen to what I'm saying with objective ears. So if you wanted to speak from a biblical stance, what you can find interesting is, again, them being stories. And now even some Muslim and Islamic people from different religions finally get, when I talk about my belief in God, I'm not necessarily affiliated with a certain religion in that regard. And that's what I think a lot of the religious leaders are realizing when I said by high faith, and I talk about the different messengers, that is the truth in the matter. And God really selects certain people. When I talked about the Zoroastrians, 3 wise men were sent to a foreign country to say to this woman, this is a message that we got for you. So the same way that these other people in the other countries can listen objectively to what I'm saying, imagine, I'd be like one of the 3 wise men coming to some of these women like, stop inviting this lady, okay, because her husband has some dirt. He has some really terrible history with women. So you're not in the position, or you should not be speaking on that topic. Now, this is after you've seen some Democrats express the fact that they want her to be quiet. So now it's one of those things where you see that party, as much as they think they're in control, even if you say I'm not Democrat and I'm not Republican, I'm just somebody giving you, some different views. They don't want the views. Now you guys are finally getting it, except for a few people that were willing to say, no, y'all shouldn't have invited her. Why would you do that? Because as you started to find, some of these same singers knew about the predatory men in their industry. So they're sitting there living in this little bubble world where they don't see her the same way some of us women are looking, where we're going, what the hell is this? That singer knew about this photographer who was predatory. That singer knew about this person that's predatory. All these people knew about all these predatory men, and now they want to lead the charge, in supposedly cleaning it up. No. Thank you to the person that wrote that article that could see it. So with all that being said, all these people that kept saying, oh, get political, it is not as simple as what they think. Now, the thing that I wanted to also express in this, I had to give kudos to the people that needed the recognition. This girl, this gymnast, right, who steps up and she's finally grown enough, that confident enough woman to say, this dude was doing all this stuff. And then you see how many women. So what's deeper with that is now people get outside of sports. When that popped off, quote unquote, over that Michigan State stadium, right, before people even knew the big stuff that was going to come out, imagine now how much deeper that whole thing is. It was not just about some one player, right, from this team. So now you can see even some of them became very narcissistic in some regard because they're like, oh, she's talking about this and that. No, big issue was going on in that area. So understand something very clearly now, how it all ends up being what I called bigger than them from a long time ago. Now it's become a little bit clearer. So you can understand now where I'm checking some of the players, like, don't you ever again say something as silly as, because we have status, we can speak up on some issues. Yeah, you probably want to take that out, that whole status thing. That's what I was just telling my son the other day. I was like, they don't even realize how arrogant they sounded. That's one of the most disgusting things I've read in my life, to be very frank with you. And it's not to say people should not have a voice, but when you preface something with like, I have the money, so yeah, people kind of got hip to me putting it out there. That's really what their mentality has been. But now you see, like I said a long time ago, because in their world, right, they don't even realize really, if you're going to talk about trying to be some political leader, you have these other countries that really have militaries. They're watching you, willing to blow you up. They don't give a damn. So your little bodyguards or whatever, they will blow you up. For real. That's the thing. When I said to Mattis a long time ago, I said the whole thing with all these concerts and stuff being targeted, I said it's because of the political stuff they found themselves involved in. And if you're willing to put yourself in that situation, understand when people are watching you so close, and now to them it's come out, oh, you're really about wanting to create an all-black world. Now you got this astronaut that they've yanked down, and they want to say it's supposedly racism, but the black side racist themselves. So it's really, again, when I talked about that scale and them really just being dividers, that's what I meant. Now, all this scientific stuff that people are arguing about, which I find hilarious, I'm going to give people some food for thought. When I say in my world, or when people say in their world, have they ever thought it's because what somebody's focus is in? I woke up almost laughing because I saw this article where, oh, this one scientist is so bent out of shape about this whole flat earth and blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell you what I thought of. And all this time, people didn't get it. When I think about world, flat world, I think about coast to coast. I'm thinking about a basketball court when I know somebody's main focus is that. If you are so bent out of shape and uptight that you can't think, right, like an artist per se, as they were saying. And it's funny to me because that's what I mean about all this thing where people have to put everybody under this microscope. I literally started laughing because I watched the commercial and I was like, now, whoever created that got it when I said depending on what your focus is in. When somebody says in their world, his world is basketball, that's the whole creative aspect that people should have freedom about. So all the scientists that got all bent out of shape, I hope I just gave you some insight. Take care.